Hi, and welcome to another episode of Emerald Isle Vacation Home Specialist. I am your host, Dennis Richkovsky. Some of you recognize me as the co-owner of Flip Flops Donuts, and some of you know me as your broker of real estate who specializes in waterfront and water view properties along the Crystal Coast, especially on Bogue Banks and in my town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina. On this channel, you will find essential information from the inside scoops on buying and selling houses to how to live with the ocean, rivers, and sounds that define the Crystal Coast. Today's episode is all about marking the beginning of the off-season here on the North Carolina Crystal Coast. Whether you visit here occasionally or live here full-time, experiencing winter along the Crystal Coast is a story that deserves telling. Before I begin, please subscribe to my video channel now or at the end of this episode. As I record this episode, it is the first day of December, and this is significant for three reasons. First, today is my birthday. Bum, 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 bum. Second, hurricane season is finally over. While only one named storm brushed the Crystal Coast in 2020, no previous hurricane season had so many storms. Third, today marks the beginning of our off-season here along the Crystal Coast. To be sure, for some, especially those in the construction trades, off-season may be a misnomer, as this is the time of year homeowners are making repairs and renovations to their houses. Commercial vehicles transporting loads of new lumber, step vans filled with the tools of construction, various pickup trucks with electrical, plumbing, heating, and cooling signs, all are motoring on Emerald Drive in increasing numbers and frequency. That caveat aside, the off-season I am celebrating is the return of the island to its full-time residents, which include me. Let's face it, when it starts to get cold, most of you are not thinking about the North Carolina Crystal Coast. Your beach thoughts may wander to Key West or Sanibel, but they are not taking you to the Crystal Coast. Not in December, January, or February, to be sure. But if you stay with me to the end of this video, maybe, just maybe, you will want to join me here in Emerald Isle this off-season. As a permanent resident, I've learned that nothing warms me up faster than a nice walk along the beach as I listen to the sounds of the waves as they crash onto the shore and I breathe in the cool, fresh air. This time of year, I usually take my daily walk in the early afternoon. Empty, cool, windy are words to describe the beaches of Emerald Isle and the Crystal Coast in the off-season. I walk down a deserted shore with the waves rumbling next to me on my left. I see little evidence of life except for a stray gull or a few pelicans gliding just beyond the surf zone. The wind whips sand particles stinging as they hit my face. Walking into the wind takes some effort. Geographically, this is a beach I visit often, indeed daily. But it is a very different beach than the one I walked only a few weeks ago in the early fall, as storms, winds, and waves have continued with their eternal reshaping of the landscape. Large sections of sand dunes have expanded, a result of the prevailing offshore winds arising from the southwest. The constant wind redistributes clouds of sand along exposed sections of beach. Sand grains collect in clamshells behind clumps of dune grass or debris. Any place that allows relief from the vigorous wind. In my lifetime, I've seen nature's reshuffling of this beach dozens and dozens of times. As I stroll along the shore, I find myself contemplating the fate of a single grain of sand during its lifetime. How many times does that single grain of sand get moved? How far does it travel? I envision the grain of sand being blown down the beach by the wind and moving in and out on a wave or with the tide. The one constant for a sand grain is motion, and the one constant for most beaches is change. With climate change triggering sea level rise and more intense storms, this current rate of change will also change. It is time to turn back as I retrace my steps from the way I came. The wind is now at my back. With the wind at my back, Nature doesn't seem quite as violent. The waves coming ashore don't look as big. A gull floats effortlessly above me on the wind, exerting no effort at all, appearing at peace, as am I. In the off-season, the beaches are not only made for walking, they are made for fishing also. Fishing is a year-round sport along the Crystal Coast that doesn't take a seat during the cooler months. During the fall months of October, November, and early December, surf casting anglers will find a bountiful source of false albacore and red drum. The false albacore can reach anywhere from 6 to 15 pounds, while red drum in recent years have reached 70 pounds. Sea trout angling is also very popular in the fall, especially off the shores of Cape Lookout National Seashore and at Fort Macon State Park. The refreshing weather brought on by winter's wind usher in with it some very large striped bass, lots of bluefish, and plenty of large flounder. The chances of catching a big one are enhanced along the Crystal Coast with Bogue Inlet Pier in Emerald Isle, convenient beach access at Fort Macon, and a Bogue Sound where many a fishing boat can be pleasantly seen bobbing about. After all this physical activity, it is time to relax and watch the water flow. And that reminds me of perhaps my favorite off-season activity, sitting on my dune deck and watching and listening to the ocean waters roll onto the beach. As you may know, Emerald Isle and other Crystal Coast beaches face south. What you may not know is that in the off-season, the prevailing winds shift from the southwest to the northeast. Those northeast winds can be brisk, but being oceanside here in Emerald Isle, you are buffered from the cold by the entire width of the island. Many a day you will find me sitting on my dune deck, clad only in a windbreaker, enjoying the sounds and sights of the beach with a book and beverage as my only companions. So, have I convinced you to visit my place of paradise this off-season? To enjoy this perfect storm of a deserted, peaceful beach, impressive fishing, and blissful daydreaming, come visit Emerald Isle and the Crystal Coast this off-season. There's no better present to give a family than a beach vacation to North Carolina's Crystal Coast. You can rent one of my oceanfront homes, rooms with a view, by texting me at 919-308-2292. The off-season is the best time to get a great deal on a rental property, and if a week is not enough, my home also has very affordable off-season monthly rates. Whether you're looking for a non-traditional holiday vacation or just want to get away from the cold, Emerald Isle is the perfect spot for your next winter beach getaway or month-long retreat. So come on down. Please subscribe to my channel below and definitely return next week to the same bat channel at the same bat time of 9 a.m. on Thursday for another episode of Emerald Isle Vacation Home Specialist.